Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Tom, and I will be your speaker for the next minute of this event. And I would like to thank you and also the organizers, for the Nullcon organizers, for having this wonderful opportunity. Though it's kind of sad because I won't be able to join you live and also personally, physically, being in Goa. I haven't been in India. I was really hoping to see your place, but unfortunately, due to some travel concerns, um, that will be postponed for the meantime. But that won't stop us for sharing information and helping you folks there in your region be more safe and digitally secure. So yeah, I my goal is just to share the information that or not actually technique, but it's more of a process and ways for you to do analysis, quick analysis on any information that you receive, um, especially from those people that you do not really know. So okay, I won't make this long. This will be a very short presentation. Since that this is recorded, I hope that you can use this as a resource and probably share it to some of your colleagues um, in the region. So our discussion will be on basic security analysis on data and information. And but before that, a quick a quick talk. A quick background of myself. My name is Tom Banaria. I'm working as a digital security consultant for Internews, and my background I actually came from corporate. I do have pretty much experience in cybersecurity. So I started my career as a as a Linux administrator, and then the cybersecurity world actually fascinates me from how one person gets to own the entire network. Because me as an administrator, I have the role to secure the network and to make it working. Um, but I actually ran into this bookstore somewhere here in the Philippines, and I was able to read the 2600.com magazine, and that actually gives me like poof, it was like eye opening. So since that, I tried to learn cybersecurity and eventually worked as a security analyst for some managed security service provider. And I actually have some folks. I work with some folks there in Nullcon. Um, and it's really good to see some old friend doing I mean presenting on the same event. So yeah, I worked my first work as security analyst, and then I used to deal with a lot of events and usually cyber attacks for some of our clients. And then I just realized that the idea of the whole cybersecurity thing, information security thing, um, is not that it's not just about attacks. So I'm kind of curious how they do it. So I try to learn penetration testing, um, and then after that, yeah, I was eventually made into a job as a penetration tester, and it's really fascinating knowing from both ends how they work, how an attacker uses its technique to gain access to compromise something like a computer, and then on the other end, understanding how um, these people defending their network protects it from an attacker. Um, so from a security standpoint, I'm trying to learn how everything works within the ecosystem. So I also try to see if I can learn auditing and stuff. So I tried to. study like PCI DSS. These are like the compliance stuff for companies. So I also had landed a job in IT auditing, and it's really cool. I mean, I cannot say that I'm an expert, um, but I can say that at least I have like working knowledge for all of these areas in cybersecurity. And also, I'm also a teacher of a trainer for cybersecurity awareness program. So I do teach um, classes for penetration testing, incident response, and of course the security awareness program. So it's like security is like more of a passion to me, and it's really fun learning stuff all the time. And so right now I'm working as a security consultant for Internews. I'm working as a digital security consultant for the Southeast Asian region. So I specifically support countries within Southeast Asia, and this is in terms of capacity building, consulting, and auditing and training as well. So yeah, I pretty much deal with a lot of organizations within the region. And also just a quick introduction of Internews. uh, Internews is an international organization with the goal to empower local media worldwide in delivering news and information in their respective communities. Um, we do this by providing resources, training, capacity building for organizations or even individuals that needs assistance. So me as a digital security consultant, my role is to provide, of course, digital security support for this for local medias. So I'm really hoping to at least work in the future with you guys and at least be there to like really support you in your work in the region. So yeah, having said that, um, let's go to the let's proceed. My goal is really not to make this long um, because it's really boring listening to a a recording. Honestly, I've done that. I've tried to learn stuff online and it's so boring. But of course, the good thing with recording is that you can repeat it all over again. So at first, usually when I do like um, when I try to learn stuff over the internet, um, I really couldn't end. I mean, I really can't finish any recordings. I mean, like video tutorials at all. I have to come back again and again, at least to learn all the stuff that's on the content. But for this one, so I'm just gonna make this very short. And okay, so let's start. So as a journalist, most of you guys usually deals with a lot of information, um, reports, stuff that you receive and you send. So these are actually in types of two things. There are mostly seen as a document, text document, PDF, Word, or Excel, and sometimes it's actually seen as URL links or like I'd rather say web pages or websites. Those are the most common things where I mean types of medium where we can actually get information nowadays, and we actually get them from your colleagues most of the time, from email, from external contacts, from partners, from funders, um, from families and friends. So it's also included, and most especially from unknown sources or contacts. And the ways we usually receive those kind of information are from email and chat. So I do use Messenger like WhatsApp, Signal, and it's beginning to actually really overcome. I mean, over. I mean, yeah, overcome the my way of receiving information rather than email. So I start to get a lot of more information in my chat messengers instead of my email. So it's kind of a bit true for myself. I don't know with you guys, but these are like the two most common ways for you to receive those information. And apparently, these ways of communication are also the ways that attackers get try to attack us in some way, particularly in what you so call social engineering. So if you like join the first 2 days, I'm not sure if some of you are here. I mean, on the event, um, social engineering basically is a way for someone like say a uh, malicious hacker. It's his way to trying to convince someone to do something that he wants him to do. Let's say, for example, a classic example of this is some simple as phishing emails. So with phishing emails, usually the sender um, tries to convince the receiver of the email to click on something, like whether if it's an ad, whether if it's a malicious website or anything at all. Whether if he wants to download a file or open a file. This is the way how they actually try to start the attack by sending this kind of malicious messages. Sometimes it's in the form of fake warnings. Usually, I receive this most of the time in my email saying that my Google password, my Google account has been hacked. And, I'm pretty much some of you actually experienced this, but this is how they use it. I mean, this is how they try to get into your system or try to capture your credentials. And aside from that, we'll be actually talking about two very popular case studies. The first one is the Bellingcat investigative journalism group, where they received some phishing emails by Proton Mail, and the second one was the Pegasus software, which is actually in WhatsApp. So um, I don't know. I was actually about to ask you guys by the raise of hand if any of you is using any of you are using WhatsApp. But if you're using WhatsApp, this is a good example for you guys. So let's start with the Bellingcat email phishing. So with the Bellingcat email phishing, um, the Bellingcat organization actually reported this to let me see. They actually got this email, and they actually find it suspicious already because of the way the email is encrypted. The way the email was sent to them. Initially, when you look at the email, um, it's like really a legitimate email from the support team of ProtonMail, because from the sender you can see their support at protonmail.ch, which is the actual domain, support at mail.de. I think this has something to do with their um, um, government stuff with Germany. I'm not sure, but everything seems normal as you can see on the email. But looking at the links that we have there, it just says that your privacy may have been compromised, which will actually raise concern. And then someone has exported your private keys for address, which is the email address of the victim or the target. This means that now your emails can be decrypted and compromised if you do not recognize this action, blah, blah, blah. Click this, generate password, and generate this one. So it's like it raises concern the way that they try to make this email, and then they will ask you to do something. So for the majority of some users, usually when they see this kind of email, they kind of started to get panic. I mean, started to panic and be worried about their email address that was mentioned on the message. But if you but if you look further on the email address that was sent to the Bellicat team, you will actually see um, that the links that was in there aren't really the legitimate websites. So the original websites, the original website was supposed to be protonmail, HTTPS, protonmail.com. So that's a legitimate one. The links that you have there actually redirects the user, whoever's going to click on that link, to this fake websites. Number one, so we have actually two fake websites there. The one is the mail.protonmail.sh and password and keys. The other domain is mailprotonmail.ch. So if you can see, it kind of looks similar to what the original domain was. And if I'll be someone who's, really haven't had enough training on digital security and how phishing works, probably someone's gonna fall into this trap. By the way, just to mention, if you would like to know more of the investigation of this, you can look up the source on the link below. So um, the way we do basic analysis is pretty simple. We have like online tools like VirusTotal, URL void, and hybrid analysis. Those are the three tools that we can use. And what we just need to do is to copy the URL that was embedded on that link and then paste it on the website. So on VirusTotal, you actually have a place there where you can um, paste the link or the URL. And let me try to show you that. Okay. I'm not sure if you're still seeing this, but let me try to share this to you again. Okay, just give me 1 second. Share screen. There. Okay. So I'm gonna share VirusTotal. Share. All right. So the VirusTotal webpage, when you view that, it will actually give you a couple of options. Number one is for you to upload a file right here. So you can actually upload a file there, and then um, yeah, basically when you click choose file, you'll able to select the file that you want to scan and then upload it to VirusTotal, and they will run multiple scans on that particular file. But on our case, we would like to know a specific URL, if it's malicious or not. So I'm gonna check back the protonmail, mail.protonmail.sh. So it's mail.protonmail.sh. Okay. So it usually it quickly says that it's a phishing email, so you have to be very careful with that. So this is more of a practice for us to know if a certain information that was sent to us is malicious or not. This is a good way, right? This is a good practice. Um, it's not just you just click the link and try to view what's in it. I remember when I was still like working as an administrator, and I'm not really familiar with this kind of stuff. I just find myself after clicking the link, it actually goes through a totally irrelevant page of advertisement and stuff, and I don't know what's happening on the background really, and it's kind of scary. So what we're trying to avoid is for you to just click any links that you're not supposed to do or not supposed to click. And let's see the other URL. Let me just pull out the other one. Let's mailprotonmail.ch. Okay, that's mail.protonmail. Mail dot, oh no, there's no dot, and then .ch. There. So from the example, we can already say that, hey, this is a phishing email. I should not click any link. So the good thing with this is that you can share it to any of your colleagues. You can just send an email to anyone within your organization, within your contacts, that, hey, someone's sending me some malicious email. I'd like to warn you. Just be sure that this is something that you review first before you click. All right. So that's really cool. And you've already protected yourself. You've already avoided yourself from getting your system getting compromised. Because either way, there's something behind that page that will either steal your credentials or infect your browser or your computer. But on this case, going back, oh, this is so difficult. Just share. Just give me a second. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, going back to the presentation, this is something that will actually try to steal credentials because this both the both URL. Can I do annotate? Oh, this is rule. This one. These are like getting your password and stuff. So you'll already know that this is trying to steal your credentials. So you have to be very careful with that. Now, not all phishing email will basically look like this. Some phishing email will ask you to download a word or an image, a Word document, a photo, or a video. You also have to be very careful with that because some files that are sometimes uploaded or sent on an email or even hosted on a server or a website, something can be malicious as well. So same thing. If you receive a file, before you click it, it's really better to at least go to VirusTotal and have it scanned. But again, there's a pitfall on that. The thing is that when you upload it to VirusTotal, it will leave a record there that says someone had scanned the URL or the file. So if this is a pretty much targeted attack, and it's like a 0-day vulnerability, when you say 0-day attack, like no one knows it yet, you're pretty much seeing nothing in there. It will definitely say that it's clean. So again, VirusTotal is not 100% uh, full proof. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so it's not 100% gonna work. It will only work if the URL or the website that you pasted on it has some history or has been reported as malicious. So yeah, again, not 100%. Okay, so moving forward, there are other tools that you can actually use. Let me delete the. Okay. Annotate. Okay. So there are also other tools that you can use. Number one is the VirusTotal. URL void is also a good tool. Um, and hybrid analysis is also another one. Let's see some screenshots of that. So for the VirusTotal again, this is the report of the mail, protonmail.sh, the one, the website that was embedded on that link that we got from Bellingcat phishing email. The other one is also in the malicious email. And here, this is the URL void. Usually, they don't really have the same result. But for this one, let's say you paste it in the mailprotonmail.ch domain, and then it shows you like a blacklist or something. Um, you can scroll down at the bottom and actually see and view more details on what's reported and why it is reported. So when you move forward and click that, let's move forward in the slide, this will show up. So it will tell you the category, counterfeit web pages, and be careful with that. Same thing. So with hybrid analysis, the good thing with hybrid analysis is it's like creating a virtual computer. I mean, it creates a virtual computer or virtual machine, and then it will actually visit the actual site. It's like testing the site itself by opening a browser on the computer and going to protonmail.ch. And from what you actually see here is that it's it's like a combination of result. One is from VirusTotal, and the other one is um, the Falcon Sandbox reports. There, really helpful tool. Again, I'd just like to highlight that you should be very careful with any links or any files that you have, because once that you click that, there's yeah, there's a chance that there's, especially if it's considered like categorized as malicious, we don't know what's in that page or what's in that link. So please be careful. Um, how you can do it is the way I do it, and or most of the security folks, is that they try to, I believe there's a term in here, but you can, what you can do is like to replace the HTTPS and stuff. There, one second. This one, let me put a circle in it. There, and then replace this with X, and then try to separate the dot so it won't be a clickable link. You know, because when you have like the regular link in there, it's something that you can click on, so it's a clickable link. So um, that's kind of dangerous too. So try to do this if you're trying to make note of it, or make note of um, the the website or the URL. Okay, so moving forward, um, we try to summarize this with a couple of steps. So whenever you see like a message on your email that asks you to do something, or click on the link or something that comes from an unknown person, this is coming from an unknown person, right? So copy the link by right clicking, and then copy the link, paste it into Notepad, and then open it in VirusTotal. So that's very simple. If it's a shortened URL, you can do the expandurl.net and then paste the bit.ly something. Usually it's like bit.ly shortened email URL, right? And paste it in it, and then you'll see the actual URL. Also, if it's a file or an attachment, do not open any file. You can just download that and actually upload it to VirusTotal or hybrid analysis for review. You can also try to open that in Google Drive. That's a lot safe. Um, and basically, the last part, check the email headers for any domain mismatches, is somewhat kind of tricky, but I'll try to see if we can cover that today in this discussion. Okay, so again, just fair warning: treat any unverified link or file from any unknown source as malicious. Um, yes, and if you have clicked a link, let's say you just learned about this stuff, and then yesterday someone sent you an email, and then you click the link and nothing seems to happen. And then something on your computer acts, or I mean your phone acts really strange. I really suggest for you to disconnect from the internet and then turn off your device. And then lastly is have an expert take a look on your device to see if there's something wrong with it. All right. So, um, again, very important to note, VirusTotal is not 100% foolproof. Some of the files, links may have no record of malicious activities in the past. Therefore, there's no records of it. This usually happens. I mean, it happens a lot, especially if the attacker just like created the website a couple of months ago or like a few weeks ago, and then sends the link to you, specifically to you, just to target you. It won't show um, any records of it. And also, they have like a way to bypass the scanning from VirusTotal. Yeah, and I know the folks in Nullcon pretty much know what I'm talking about. So if you'd like to ask more about, they can pretty much answer your questions. But they can know, they can do that. They can somehow find a way to bypass those scanners. And also, when you upload links or files to any of those tools online, you may alarm the attacker or the malicious attacker that it's trying to get you. You're letting them know that you are already aware that they are attacking you. So just to give them, just to give you guys a heads up. So yeah. So case study, another case study. It's already 30 minutes, and this will be very short after this topic. Um, Mobile devices are increasing in attacks. There are a few points in here: Pegasus spyware, targeting specific users, miscall triggers. These are most of the Pegasus software. Well, the reason why I add mobile device in there is because it's pretty much clear what the reason why they are attacking more mobile devices, because mobile devices, you cannot afford to have it shut off, right? Usually when it's low on battery, just plug it in and it keeps on running. There's no downtime for mobile devices. That's why it's like the most popular target now these days. And the Pegasus software, we'll try to talk about that later. Um, on WhatsApp. Um, the fact that it's spyware, it installs itself on your phone, whether it's an iOS or an Android, and then the report actually verifies that in India there's the majority of Indians are being under surveillance, being infected by spyware, but by that Pegasus spyware. So we'll also talk about the miscall can trigger an exploit. Why? I mean, that's really nasty. You don't need to do anything at all. You'll just make a phone call, and then if you missed it, you did not do anything at that point. So how about that? How are we gonna address that? How are we gonna avoid that? Next is exploit can lead to compromise. It's like the end scenario that if you're compromised, you can listen to calls, video recordings, and collection of information such as email and contacts. So these are like examples of the phishing uh, email. I'm not actually email, but messages via it's actually SMS. If you can see, it's kind of similar the way it looks with the phishing email. It's a link, I guess, as well. And when you click the link, it's going to go to a website which has all the exploit, and then it then compromises the phone. So if you're familiar with Ahmed Mansour case, this is the actual screenshot of the message that he actually received, courtesy of Citizen Lab. Um, so the way you analyze that, same thing. You just type in the URL, but for this case, of course, I'm not sure, guys, if you can understand that, but same thing. You go to that link, paste it in, VirusTotal, hybrid analysis, your avoid, see if there's something in there malicious in there, and if you are still uncertain, try to get an expert. I believe that you at least once in a while have contacted a digital security expert in the region. But if not, I'm actually offering um, our service, and I'll let Nullcon, let's talk about that later on after the discussion. Another phishing report. This is from Rafael Cabrera from Mexico. It's also a journalist investigating like corruption in Mexico. So there's also something that's pasted in there. There's still a link in there, dangerous link. So if you can see, this is an example of the bit link. So you don't know what's behind that. So you go to expandurl.net, paste it in there, and then copy the link, paste it in one of those tools. So there. Talking about what we can do about this, um, Android, Apple, and some of the organizations or um, majority of the digital security defenders actually have come up to the conclusion of like, this is the thing that we need to do. So recommendations for you guys, as well as for everyone who's listening on this presentation. So never open any link or file for unknown contact. Never install any software for unknown contact. Update your device ASAP. Include applications under Play Store and Apple Store, because sometimes we just tend to update the device itself, but not those apps on that are installed basically. And always examine URL when logging in or entering your username password. Consider using Signal for more sensitive information. So the last recommendation sometimes are, I do recommend really Signal as a means of communication, but the challenge is that not all are in Signal, and forcing them to use Signal isn't really a good thing at all. So having said that, there's something that we can do on our apps if we are like constrained to the app that we're using. So we can just harden your messaging apps then. Or let's say on WhatsApp, you have privacy settings, security settings, then two-factor or two-step verification enabled. So that actually hardens your messaging app, particularly in WhatsApp. If you're using Signal, you can do the privacy lock screen, and then you also review the link storage device, link devices, as well as delete old messages as for your reference. You can select every 20, 50 messages. You can delete that. So yeah. Next is Telegram. If anyone is using Telegram, there's a secret chat in there. By default, Telegram doesn't really send end-to-end encryption. You have to go to secret chat first before you can enable it. So always take note of that. Under settings and privacy and security, you can block users, phone numbers. Who do you want to see your phone number? Last seen and online, you can set it to only contacts. You can see profile photos, forwarded messages, and these are the settings that you can actually look at and play with. Lastly, security passcode, two-factor authentication as well, and reviewing active sessions. I mean, if someone's trying to like gain access to your account, like to ghost your number on Telegram, you can actually see it here. And there you go. Basically, that's like the summary of it. And I really hope I can get questions from you guys, because again, I really wanted to this presentation to be interactive. But if you do have any questions, and if you actually kind of need support, please coordinate with Nullcon. And I believe that we are. I'm looking forward to partnership with Nullcon and hopefully supporting South Asia region in the future. And it's 36 minutes, as I mentioned. This won't be long. And again, thank you guys for having me virtually on recording. And hopefully I can meet all of you in the future. And again, thank you, Nullcon, for inviting me. You guys have a great day. And of course, stay safe. Bye.